Hello and welcome to the final video of this channel. I can't believe it. So if you haven't already, you're going to want to move over to Open Hearts Unite channel. I'm going to put the link below because this channel is going to cease to exist this coming Friday. So this coming week will be the last week of Loving and Celebrating Men channel. The conversation is going to continue. It's going to continue under the umbrella of Open Hearts Unite, and it's going to be there with a bunch of other conversations, including the art of femininity, which I've never made videos on, so I'm excited. Self-love activism, the conversation of Open Hearts Unite itself, which would be the umbrella for so many amazing conversations, including racial injustice across the minority board, and just people talking about love and sovereignty and just the many expressions of that, and community. And also there's going to be the conversation of Black sovereignty. As you know, I'm Afro-Latina, I'm a Black and Puerto Rican woman, and with everything that's been going on, bringing up this conversation, creating this conversation of Black sovereignty has been so healing and powerful for me. And I'm just so excited to do it. A big part of that is going to be dismantling racist gaslighting tactics that have been projected onto the Black community for centuries, the Black and Brown community. And I'm going to also be talking about Black history. I'm going to be talking about Black culture. So it's going to be a great celebration. And here's a little challenge. If you find yourself confronted by the conversations of Black sovereignty or any statements of the Black community of us saying, we need our lives to matter in society, I would challenge you to think about why. Now, if you've been following me for these past several years in the conversation of loving and celebrating men, then you know that that's what I do. That's the whole point of this series. This whole point of the conversation of loving and celebrating men is that I challenge my prejudice. I challenge my prejudice. And so the whole point of this is sharing how I was able to challenge my prejudice onto half of the planet because of my misconceptions of men. That's what all of this has been about. So I shared my journey, and I think that if you've been watching me for this long and you've seen, the joy I have and how much I love life, and I talk about the gifts in several videos of Loving and Celebrating Men, I talk about the gifts of how I was able to find not only how I healed, how important it was who I was being with men and how I shifted who I was being with men, but the gift for myself in healing my prejudice. It's in my videos. I talk about it all the time. That how I found the gift for myself in healing my prejudice. And when I healed my prejudice and my prejudice towards men, the amazingness that my life opened up. I got to see I was no longer alone. I got to see that, I broke down a wall of division that I had between me and men. So if you're challenged by Black sovereignty, if you're challenged by the Black community saying, hey, there's racism that has not been faced and it's killing us and it's systemically choking us, and the viewpoints that are projected onto us are hurting us, are hurting our children, are hurting us. If you're triggered by the conversation of Black sovereignty, there's a good chance that there is unconscious racism going on. So this is my last video here. I'm gonna close the comments here. I'm just moving over to the other channel. You're not gonna see me on this channel anymore. So I welcome you to come over. Whoever is moved to come over, and those of you who are not, those of you who are upset about the conversation of Black lives mattering, or upset about Black sovereignty, which is about Black celebration and self-love, and you just can't be with that in any way, that's okay. I wish you the best, and I hope one day that you can find the freedom for yourself in challenging where you keep your heart closed. And those of you who are excited about the conversation, those of you who are just really excited for community and really want to have, move forward together and have those conversations, even if you're not 100% there, even if you're still questioning, even there's a part of you that's like, well, I don't understand this. It's okay if you don't understand it. As long as you can be respectful, come on over. it's not an all or nothing thing. It's really just down to your choice. We all have the choice to grow. Whether we want to, that's up to each and every one of us. But I tell you, this conversation of loving and celebrating men would not have existed had I not challenged myself to grow. And had I not challenged myself to grow, the beautiful access to joy and my ability to create Open Hearts Unite would have never happened. It just would have never happened. So there is something amazing waiting for you on the other side of racism, even if it's unconscious. There is something amazing waiting for you on the other side of these skewed perceptions that we've been force fed since the very beginning, since we've been born. It's been in our society. So if you're in that process, and even if you're in the middle of that process, if you recognize the injustice, and if you recognize what the Black community is going for, and you are an ally, if you are even a beginner ally, even if you're not even an ally yet, or that's not, whatever, if you are just starting into that recognition and that self-awareness of what the Black community is going through, be gentle with yourself, because it's not about hating yourself. We live in a society, we've all been colonized, all of us, every single one of us, since that's just how society has been laid out. So be gentle with yourself. The fact that you're aware now, that's awesome. So acknowledge yourself for where you are now. Be aware of, we can be aware of who we've been. We can be conscious, get conscious to who we've been being to people. And the most important piece of this is to love yourself and to keep listening and stay humble and listen, because that's how I was able to grow. That's how I was able to expand my heart to half of the planet, was because I had to learn how to listen. I had to learn how to get humble. And I tell you, obviously it makes a beautiful impact in the world because I get to now share with other people and support healing the conversations and perception of men globally. That's one of my goals. It's very important to me that we heal our perception of men. So that's a really important piece for me, but I wouldn't have been able to do that and to make a change in the way we perceive men as a society, because that's been systemically ingrained as well. I wouldn't be able to face that and make that change and be that change if I didn't go through the discomfort, and it's intense, of cognitive dissonance. And if I didn't go to the, oh my God, awareness of who I was being with men and who I was being in society and the conversations I was supporting in society, there's no way. So get uncomfortable. You're loved, you're supported, you got a big community rooting for you, because the more people that get aware and get conscious of what the Black community is going through, the more we can connect and come together as a community, and all of us rise together. Because we're not all rising if the Black and Brown communities are not included in this rising, if minorities are not included in this rising. So when I say we rise together, that needs to include me. That needs to include my Black and Brown brothers and sisters. That needs to include Native Americans, Asians. That needs to include the minorities, Latins, all of us. We need to be included. And when I say we rise together, I mean it. I mean all of us. So thank you so much for watching and coming over to the YouTube. Catch you there.